Landlords don't make any money. The biggest thing with human nature is we like to be right. And if we aren't right, or if we know that someone isn't right, we try to correct them. I was scrolling through TikTok and saw an individual make the comment that landlords do not make any money. Now, let me elaborate on that because a lot of people were commenting about how ridiculous of a statement that is. But to be honest with you, I kind of actually agree with him. Now, that may be a bit of an odd statement coming from someone that has well over 200 videos on YouTube, mostly about real estate investing. But at the end of the year, when I'm filing my taxes, my properties don't generate a ton of income. And let me elaborate here for you guys. I don't want my properties to generate a ton of income. Now, the thing with real estate investing, especially if you're getting into a house, let's say that you're looking to house hack, maybe you're gonna look to rent out the rooms. If you're putting 0% down on a VA loan, 3% to 3.5% down on a conventional or an FHA loan, or maybe 5% tops to own or occupy a home, you aren't going to have a tremendous amount of cash flow. To be honest with you, some states right now, due to the prices, don't even cash flow. So when you're looking at it, the grand scheme of things, if you're barely breaking even or you're cash flowing $100 or $200 a month, all you've got to have happen is one large item come up that needs to be repaired, and you essentially have wiped out your total year of cash flow. And unfortunately, that's the side that renters don't see. They don't understand that, yes, us as landlords have a mortgage to pay, but that mortgage doesn't just include, hey, I'm paying down your mortgage. There's the mortgage principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. If you do have a rental property that has an HOA, that can be tacked on top of it as well. Just to give you a quick glance of what it's like to be a landlord in my situation with one of my properties, I got to discuss my commercial property. Now, most of you know, if you've been following my channel, that commercial property was intended on being used by my real estate team for 2 of the 4 units and then lease out the other 2, kind of like a commercial house hack. Unfortunately, I kind of have gone the other direction and decided not to build a real estate team. So I've now leased that out to a new real estate company. And all 4 of those units, technically 3 because the real estate company occupies 2 of them, is fully leased out when it comes to my commercial property. So the quick numbers there, $23.15 for 1 unit, $22.50 for the other small unit, and the larger that occupies 2 of the spaces is $47.50 a month. Now, the thing with commercial leases is they are oftentimes 3-year leases with an escalating rent. So the tenant that's currently paying $47.50 is actually going to increase to $52.50 for the 2nd year and $57.50 for the 3rd year. This helps offset maybe increasing taxes, but also helps me cash flow a little bit more over the course of the next 3 years. So just some quick math there, about $9,300 right now a month from that commercial property, but it's gonna probably get close to $10,000, if not more, over the course of the next 3 years. Now to break down what my monthly expenses look like for this property. $57.50 is my principal and interest payment every single month. Principal is about $27 and some change of that. Then you add in the HOA dues. The HOA dues are $11.50 a month. Unfortunately, when I bought this property, they were only about $850 and they've gone up substantially in the last 2 years. My hope is that this does not continue to happen. But the good news with the HOA is it does cover a lot of my larger expenses, such as the roof itself, the windows, and the way that commercial leases actually work is they cover your HVAC unit as well. So if you combine all of those expenses that I no longer have to take, it certainly helps in the long run for cash flow. Now, last but not least are going to be property taxes and insurance. Insurance isn't going to be too high on this due to the fact that I've got an HOA that covers a lot of my large expenses. So that's only going to be about $150 a month or $1,800 a year. But unfortunately, it is in Dallas County. Here in Texas, we have really high property taxes, so that's going to be $26,000 a year, or about $21.50 a month just in taxes alone. So let's add all of this up real quick. $150 for insurance, $21.50 a month for property taxes, $57.50, which is going to be principal and interest, and then our HOA dues of $11.50. Total here is $9,200 a month. Let's rewind a little bit, guys. How much am I getting a month in rent here? This commercial property that is valued at about $1.5 million is only generating about $1,000 or $2,000 a year in cash flow. Now, the good news is with that increase in rent that I just talked about, I'm probably going to be cash flowing $700 to maybe $1,000 over the next couple years with the increasing rents. So yes, guys, landlords do not make a ton of money. For me, real estate investing and buying buy and holds are a long-term game. A lot of investors are out there doing the BRRRR method, if you can still attempt that. Some are wholesaling. Those people are going to utilize real estate investing as their sole source of income. For me, it's more like putting money in the stock market where I just put money there and I let it sit and hope that it grows over the long term. But as far as real estate goes, I have a lot more confidence in my tenants paying down my note every single month, as well as real estate values continuing to go up. So in the case in, let's say 20 years, if I just make the minimum amount down and cover this 20-year note, probably going to be sitting with a property that's worth $2 million, and I won't even have a mortgage on it anymore. Just a disclaimer here though, guys, I certainly wouldn't have a portfolio with a ton of my commercial properties as an example, and I certainly wouldn't advise you to do the same. You're definitely going to want to have a wide range of properties, some that cash flow better than others. If I had a 30-year note on this commercial property, obviously it would cash flow much better. Now, the reason why it makes sense is I actually have other properties, such as a single family rental, that cash flows north of $1,000 a month after all of my expenses. Now that $1,000 over my mortgage is still combined with the generated income from my commercial property to help me cash flow even more as a combined total portfolio. So as you continue to grow your real estate investment portfolio, you should have a combination of different investments and kind of different loans to help offset one another. For instance, I have a 15-year note on my primary, I have 2 20-year commercial notes, and I have 3 30-year fixed single-family rentals. So with my total real estate portfolio valued at about $5 million, total amount per month that's being paid off, just principal alone, is north of $10,000. Again, if you multiply that by 12, I make well over 6 figures from leveraging my tenants, having them pay down my principal, continuing to grow my net worth. And to be honest with you guys, a lot of it, I would say 95% is passive. So going back to that TikTok that a lot of people were arguing against, stating that landlords do not make any money, I definitely don't make a ton of money as a landlord that owns a handful of properties. I certainly wouldn't say a majority of landlords make a ton of money either, because if they do make a ton of money, they're just paying a ton more out in taxes. So if you're smart and you're working the system and working the system in the right way, yes, you as a landlord should not be making a lot of money. And honestly, this goes out to a lot of younger investors in their 20s or 30s. Your income that you're generating from your rental properties now should not be a sole focus. You should be looking long-term. What is this going to look like in 20 or 30 years? When maybe I just decided to pay off all of my mortgages and live on that cash flow. And I could tell you in 20 or 30 years, that's absolutely something I can do at the age of 33 right now, just with the real estate portfolio that I have. And that doesn't include anything I'm looking to purchase over the next 10, 20, or 30 years. So just some advice for you guys. If you're looking to get into real estate investing, or maybe you're trying to purchase maybe your second or third property, do not get caught up in the fact that you are not making a ton of money as a landlord. Again, it's a long-term game, stick with it, and I can guarantee you, you're gonna be quite happy in the next 10, 15, or 20 years. Thanks again for watching, guys. Make sure to like and subscribe. It really does help, and stay tuned for the next video.